Alright, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and today I am doing ranking my friends in basketball part 2. Now I did part 1 back in like April 2020 when none of us could go outside and we were just sitting in the house bored all day, and that boredom made me make that video. And let me get into the backstory of what made that video happen. Now there was like this video going around of like this guy who like ranked like basketball YouTubers like top 10 or whatever, and that video sparked like a lot of controversy, and my video sparked a lot of controversy among my friends because some of them were like they didn't like their ranking. But anyway, my friend Joseph told me, he was like, oh, have you seen that video? It's like you should make a video like that, but instead of like them, it's our friend group. And I did, and there was like 11 of us back like then, but now there's only like 9 of us with me included. Now here's the difference between this video and the last video. In the last video I was not included in the rankings, but then like after the video was out, my friend Joseph was like, you should have put yourself in it. So now this time I'm gonna put myself in it because he wanted me to. And I kind of just want to do like an updated list of like, you know, the top 10 players. But there's only 9 of us this time, even though the title says top 10. But, you know, it doesn't matter. So basically these like rankings are going to be based off of what I've seen recently in the games that we've played. And I'm going to put down like the stats of the 5v5 games. Like that's not going to determine who has like the higher ranking. It's just kind of there for like, you know, like more information. So yeah, and those stats, if you want to see like all the stats and stuff, I'm gonna put down the Instagram post because I posted it on Instagram, but a lot of you guys probably didn't see it because you guys probably didn't you guys probably don't follow me on my channel Instagram. But anyway, let's get into the video and let's get into the rankings. So number 9th on the list, we have my boy Ahmed. Now Ahmed has a 5v5 record of 3-1. He has an 84 overall with B- finishing, C shooting, A+ defense, A in speed, A- rebounding, and C playmaking. His previous rank was 9, but he's still 9th, so it kind of is the same thing. And his NBA comparison is Draymond Green, and his averages are 6 points, 1 assist, 14 rebounds, 4 steals, and 3 turnovers. Ahmed is a lockdown defender. That's his craft. That's what he does best. He's easily the best defender on this list, whether it's getting steals or like just on-ball defense, like getting stops. He's just that's what he is. He's the best defender on this list, and he's the most he has the best impact on like his whatever team he's playing, even though he only scores, like he doesn't score a lot, he still impacts whatever team he's on. He's basically like a Draymond Green. He can have like two points and then he'll have like 13 rebounds and like 4 steals. But let's get into his strengths and weaknesses. His strength is obviously his defense, and a new strength that he's gotten is his rebounding. He got a lot better at his rebounding. In the last IRL game he played, he had 20 rebounds, but his weaknesses is that he does not drive as much as he should. He's faster than everyone. He could drive by him, and he gets a lot of turnovers. So let's get into number 8. Coming up next at number 8, we got Ayden. Now Ayden's 5v5 record is 2-2. He's at 85 overall with B finishing, A- shooting, C+ defense, B- speed, B rebounding, and C playmaking. His previous rank was 8, so he also stays where he was last time. His NBA comparison is Kevin Love, and in the 5v5 games he averages 10 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, and 1 turnover. So Ayden is a stretch big, just like, you know, a Kevin Love type player, tall power forward / center kind of guy who could just shoot threes. You know, he's more of like a spot up shooter. He's not like a dribble up and then like, you know, just pull up for 3. But he's a very complicated player. Like there's times where he's on my team and he'll drop like a cool 8, but then when he's on Joseph's team, he hits every shot and drops like a cool 15. Like, he just recently had like the game winner for like the next last game, like, as you seen right there. But his strengths and weaknesses, his strengths is that when he can shoot, there's times where he can't miss and he just makes a whole bunch of threes. But his weaknesses is that he's a defensive liability. He's not really that good at defense, and he's not really that good at rebounding for his size, and he's very inconsistent. So let's move on to number 7. So at number 7, we got Justin. His 5v5 record is 4-1. He's an 86 overall. He has a C+ finishing, B+ shooting, B- defense, B+ speed, B- rebounding, and A playmaking. His previous rank was 6, so he actually went down 1. His NBA comparison is Chris Paul. And in the 5v5 games, he averages 6 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, and 4 turnovers. So Justin is a playmaking sharpshooter. He's mostly better on the playmaking side, but he's still a knockdown shooter. He's one of the best shooters in the group, and he could get steals a lot of the time, like not just like from reaching, but like, you know, if it's like a bad pass, he could, like, you know, intercept it. And like I said earlier, he's a knockdown shooter. If you give him the ball from the 3, he's probably gonna hit it unless he's just having a bad shooting day. But his strengths and weaknesses, his strengths is that he can, you know, knock down threes, and he sets up his team a lot, and he makes good passes. Sometimes he even makes fancy passes. But his weaknesses is that he gets way too many turnovers. He actually leads like all of us for turnovers. And another weakness is that he blows a lot of layups. He misses a lot of wide open layups. But let's get into the number 6 spot. So at number 6, we got my boy Hector. His 5v5 record is 2-2. He's an 86 overall with A- finishing, A shooting, C+ defense, C- speed, B rebounding, and C+ playmaking. His previous rank was 7, which means him and Justin basically switched spots. His NBA comparison is Chris Middleton. He's probably not going to agree with that, but his 5v5 averages are 12 points, 2 assists, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, and barely any turnovers at 0.5. So Hector is an inside-out scorer, basically meaning he could, you know, finish on the inside and also, you know, light it up from like 3-point distance, or like, you know, mid-range, whatever. But in my opinion, he's like the one that's improved the most since like the last list, as you can see, because he went up a spot. He basically just got more consistent with his shot and started to drive more. Like, he doesn't really get scared that much. Like, he just shoots it whenever he gets it, and he makes it. But his strengths and his weaknesses, his strengths is that he got real confident when shooting the 3, and he started to drive more instead of like just settling for threes like he used to. But his weaknesses, like, I would say his only weakness is that he needs to get more confident when guarded by a good defender. So let's get on to the top 5 with the number 5 spot. So coming into the top 5, we got my boy Jakorey, who unfortunately has a 1-4 record when we play 5v5s. He's an 89 overall with B finishing, B+ shooting, A- defense, B speed, A- rebounding, and A playmaking. His previous rank was 4, but he didn't go up just because like he didn't get worse or anything. His NBA comparison is Jason Kidd, and in the 5v5s, he usually tends to put up 11 points, 5 assists, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 turnover. So Jakorey is an all-around point guard. He could basically do it all. He could defend, he could score, he could, like, you know, get assists, like play make and stuff like that. He can also like get rebounds. Like, there's a lot of guys that like in our group that are taller than him, and they don't even get more rebounds than him. Jakorey is the smallest one in our group. Like, he could get double-digit rebounds every time if he tries. And he's just a hustler. He's really determined. He's like the most like determined to win guy on this list. Like, he wants to win like no matter what. But his strengths and weaknesses, his strengths is that he is like he's just determined, and he always wants to win. and he's just a good point guard overall. He's not selfish, but his weaknesses is that he gets way too mad sometimes, that he lets the little things piss him off, and he's easy to double team, and he settles for threes a lot instead of like trying to drive. But anyway, let's get on to the 4th spot. Number 4 on the list, we got Jose. His 5v5 record is 2-1. He's a 91 overall with B+ finishing, A+ shooting, C- defense, B speed, B+ rebounding, and B+ playmaking. His previous rank was 3, but like I said with Jakorey, it didn't go down because of like he got worse or anything. His NBA comparison is Devin Booker. In the 5v5 games, he averaged 12 points, 3 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, and barely any turnovers, 0.5. So Jose is a pure sharpshooter. He's in contention for like the best shooter in the group, but in my opinion, he's second. But he's still a really good shooter. Like, he's a better shooter than most of us. There's only one person that's a better shooter than him. But I've known Jose since I was in like 1st grade, and he's always been a shooter. Like, they really used to call him Lil Kobe when he was in like 2nd grade. Like, I'm not even lying. I don't know if he remembers that or not, but he's a good shooter. He's always been a good shooter. So his strengths and weaknesses, his strengths is that he's a good corner shooter. Like, he's basically like automatic from the corner, and he could even shoot from deep sometimes too. But his weaknesses is that he doesn't drive as much as he should. Like, he kind of just settles for threes a lot. But he's a good shooter though. Those are only his really weaknesses. So let's go on to the top 3 at the number 3 spot. At number 3, we got Jacob. His 5v5 record is 3-2. He's a 93 overall with A finishing, A+ shooting, B defense, A speed, A- rebounding, and A- playmaking. His previous rank was 2, and his NBA comparison is James Harden. And his 5v5 averages are 14 points, 1 assist, 9 rebounds, 0.3 steals, and 1 turnover. So like Jose, Jacob is also a pure sharpshooter. Now I got a lot to say about this guy because he is simply, even though he's number 3, he's simply just one of the best players in our group, and there's really nothing negative I have to say about him. Like, his shot is automatic. He barely misses. Like, he had like a slump like the last couple of times I played him, but he kind of like picked it up in the recent game, and he deserves to be right where he's at. Like, he's the best shooter on this list. He hardly misses from 3. So strengths and weaknesses. Strengths is that he's a very good shooter, and he's a very good finisher, which is why like I put him as Harden. And weaknesses, like I said in the last list, he does not have any weaknesses. He's like basically almost a perfect player. Like, you want him on your team. Like, he's going to shoot the lights out. Now let's go into the top 2. So at number 2, the moment that you've all been waiting for, my ranking on the list. I honestly feel like I'm the number 2 player, but in this probably like next coming games that we play, I'm probably gonna slide down to number 3, and Jacob's probably gonna take his number 2 spot back. But yeah, I'm just humble now. I'm not gonna say I'm the number 1 player. So anyway, let's get into my stats and everything. My record is 1-4. I've lost 4 times in a row. I'm trying to get that win, but I'm a 94 overall with A+ finishing, A shooting, B+ defense, B- speed, A+ rebounding, and B playmaking. My previous rank is NA. Like, I don't have one because I wasn't in the last list. My NBA comparison is Karl-Anthony Towns because I look like him. Like, my friends tell me that all the time, and you know I play like him. That's the point. But my 5v5 averages are 22 points, 1 assist, 20 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks, and 1 turnover. So I am an inside-out scorer just like Hector is. But I also feel like I could be a stretch 5, but just for right now, I'm going to say that I'm an inside-out scorer. Most of the time, well, I should really say all of the time, I'm the tallest guy on the court, so meaning I could get rebounds, and I've recently been getting a lot more blocks, so I've added that to my bag, I guess you could say. But I can shoot, I could rebound, I could make a lot of layups, you know, just standing in the paint. like most centers do. But my strengths and weaknesses, my strengths is that I can obviously, you know, finish. I could shoot pretty well. I could get blocks. I could rebound. But my weaknesses is that I rely too much on threes and just jump shots in particular. And I don't really drive. I'm more good at like finishing, like, you know, standing layups. So I don't really drive that much. But let's go to the number one spot. At the number one spot, the best player in the group has got to be Joseph, hands down, no question about it. His 5v5 record is 4-1. He's a 94 overall with A+ finishing, A- shooting, B defense, D speed, A+ rebounding, A- playmaking. His previous rank was 1. He basically didn't go down. He's still the best player. His NBA comparison is Joel Embiid, and his 5v5 averages is 35 points, 3 assists, 14 rebounds, 2 steals, 0.3 blocks, and 3 turnovers. Joseph is an inside-out playmaker, basically meaning that he could literally beast on the inside, and he could shoot on the outside, whether it's mid-range or three-pointer. And he could also play make, which means he could get assists. He has good court vision, good handles. He could basically play like a point guard and make plays like a playmaker does. So there's no question about it that Joe is number one on this list. Like, me and him, we used to see each other as equal, but he's honestly surpassed me, and I could even admit that. Like, he's just on a whole different level. He could drop 40 at any given moment, whether he's shooting threes or not. And he stopped, like, he overcame a weakness, which was calling a whole bunch of fouls, like, late or whatever. Like, he stopped calling a lot of fouls, which is a good thing. But strengths and weaknesses, his strengths is that he could get a lot of second chance points, and he could get offensive rebounds, and he could back people down and push them out the way so that he could get his points. But his only weakness is that he's slow and he doesn't really get back on defense, and he runs out of stamina fast. So that was ranking my friends in basketball part 2. And yes, I am going to be trying to do, like, I want to kind of do these lists frequently as long as we keep doing like these like 5v5 games, because it brings out like who's better than who and stuff. Like, and I want to add more people. Like, there's people that are like in our like friend circle, like acquaintance, whatever, that weren't on this list because I haven't seen them play in a while, or like I've only seen them play like one time, and I want to add them to the list. Like, I kind of just want to do like more lists in the future, just as long as we're doing this 5v5 thing. And me like making this video made me want to, like, you know, do another 5v5 game. We're gonna try and set that up soon. I'm gonna try and go down there. School's almost over for me, so like I'm gonna try and go whenever they're available, and I'm gonna try and go there at least twice during this summer. That's my goal, so we can make more of these 5v5 games. Like, the last one was really chill, it was really fun. Like, usually they're toxic, but this time around, and I'm predicting in the future, they'll be more chill. So if you guys enjoyed the video and you guys want more videos, hit the like button, and peace.